could say about Mama. It was the dream of her life to be a mom. And I was talking to my friend Siobhan in Ireland a few days ago, and she said that's what I always loved about your parents, is they both fully embrace the number one role in their life was that of mother and that of father, and everything else was secondary to that. And all I ever wanted to be was a mom. So I stand before you as Kingsley and Josiah's mama because I had a dream the same as my mom's. Of all the things I could say, that's what I want to say to you this morning. It's the honor of my life to be a mom because I had a mom that made me want to be one so desperately. So Pastor Greg is going to help me, and if you would like to speak, please just raise your hand and bless us with remembering Mom for a minute or two.
Ginger's favorite thing to say, I'm his favorite.
Hi, God bless you all. I'm blessed to be here. When I got a diagnosis of cancer, Ginger was sitting up here, and like she always did, she wrote down this little thing on a piece of paper, and she rushed it over to me. She says, "Here, take this. This is for you." And I can't remember exactly what it was, but of course it was a verse from the Bible regarding cast your cares on him and you shall be healed, something to that effect. Well, when I found out she had cancer, I was at home sick in bed, but I instantly texted her that same exact thing that she texted, or that she wrote to me in that note. And she texted me back and she said, "You don't know how much that means to me for you to give that back to me now." And so I was blessed with that. And all the writings she gave me a bunch of them.
Thank you. My name's Eric Johnson, and I have a group here with me from Bishop Kenny High School. We don't look like it, but we graduated in 1962. And there was a very shy young woman in our class, Ginger, very shy and retiring, so we don't know who you're talking about here today. But one of our classmates, Eddie Crossett, lives in Atlanta, and he is heartbroken that he couldn't be here because he, like many people, had a crush on Ginger. And this is rather lengthy, but I'm going to shorten it to get to the heart of the matter. There was a dance at Assumption School where a group of us went in elementary school in Jacksonville. And Eddie writes, "Ginger and I danced several times, and she was not only very cute, but also was a very good dancer." Another surprise. "I preferred the slow ones." But the one that I have never forgotten is when Bebop Alulu by Gene Vincent came blaring out of the speakers, and Ginger grabbed my hand, and we fast danced like crazy to the whole song. It was an experience. Every time I would see her through the years, I would always remind her of that dance in those innocent times, and she would flash that beautiful smile that said to me, "Yeah, I remember, that was pretty cool." Good thing the nuns didn't listen to the lyrics. Rest in heaven, my dear first dance partner. Love, Eddie Crossett.
I'll walk up here so everyone can see me. I won't make everybody turn around, So I've known Ginger probably for about 15 years since she moved out to the lake. She was great friends with my parents, and everybody knows how great of a prayer warrior she was. And I was battling an addiction, and a severely bad addiction, and I had been to several places, times of being sober, times of relapse, and through that, I know that Ginger was praying for me. I know without a doubt because I had a dream. I had entered this program for a year down south, and I had a dream there one night. And I had a dream that my house was on fire. But there were all of these people holding hands, surrounding my house while it was on fire. And later somebody told me a little bit of a meaning to that dream, which was those were the people that were interceding for me. And she was one of the main faces that I could see was for her interceding for me. And even when I got back home, I mean, she would come by my house once, twice a week and just sit there. You know, my kids would play in the yard and she would sit there and just talk to me, and she would call me and she would just tell me how much she loved me. But I know for a fact that her intercessory prayer for me changed my life.
Ginger was my friend for decades when our children were very small. The greatest joy in life is to love and be loved. Hi. And that's why you loved her so much, because she loved you so much. And she was a prayer warrior, and she had a list, and I saw it for many years, and my daughter-in-law is an answer to one of those prayers. So thank you, Ginger, for that.
I haven't known Ginger very long, just a couple of years, but it seems like a million. She was awesome. She prayed my brother through a horrible disease. He couldn't hardly walk. He now walks. He dances. He sings. He praises the Lord. And thank you, Ginger.
My name is Chris, and I attend here the Grace Community Church, and we just love Ginger so much, and this is just such a magnificent testimony of how she affected people's lives, and I was one of them. And for about 2.5 years, my family was going through a very hard period. And you know, when we pray sometimes, things don't instantly happen. You know, sometimes it takes a while. But for 2.5 years, Ginger stuck by my side, and she prayed with me and believed with me, and we got victory over that situation. So thank you, Ginger.
Hello, I'm Daisy Davis, and it's like she's here pushing me in my back, telling me, get up, girl, say something. And so I'm going to say something, okay? But anyway, I've known Ginger for a time, and it would be remiss if I didn't get up and say something about my friend. She was so dear to me. But it's like her, when she's telling me to get up and say something, it's like she's saying to me, girl, you better tell them about them black-eyed peas I cooked for you. You know that day you came out to the lake to my house? Girl, I fixed you some black-eyed peas and some rice and some other things, and she and Rick and I just had dinner. She was just trying to impress me that she knew how to cook soul food, okay? But that was her. But we've had some great times together. And when Heather called me, I was at work the other day. I did not know, but she was on my mind a couple of weeks ago, just so fresh. But I didn't know what was going on. And when I got the call, you know, there was her name, you know, on the phone. I said, oh, Ginger's calling me. But it was Heather calling me to tell me that my friend had gone on to be with the Lord, and I had to step outside to get my myself together real quick because it was so unbelievable. But then shortly after that, I pulled myself together because I know my friend. I know where she is. I know who she's with. And we will see each other again.
I don't know if I can say it. You'll have to excuse my emotions. Helen is Ginger's sister, making me her brother-in-law, and Rick and Ginger and Helen and I did a lot of things together. We went to different countries, different places, and we had a routine that every Tuesday night they would come into town and have dinner with us, and they would stay over with us because Ginger went to that Wednesday meeting that had been going on for 42 years with Helen. And there are a lot of things I remember about Ginger. Number one was that she and I were almost married. This is true. We were standing up at the altar, and the priest was getting ready to call us forth to exchange vows, and he said, "Okay, Alex and Ginger, please step forward." And Ginger and I looked at each other like maybe we had missed something in the rehearsal. But fortunately, he did correct himself. Said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I mean Helen now." So, Rick, your win. My law. There was one thing. This was a small thing, and it's something that's going to always remind me of Ginger. Is that on Tuesday nights when they'd come to dinner, before we'd eat, we'd stand in the kitchen and say grace, and then Ginger would look over at the oven, and the oven light was on, and she'd walk over and she'd turn it off, and she said, "Job security." And every time I see that oven light on, I'm going to think of Ginger.
My wife and I moved to the lake just about the same time Rick and Ginger did, and we were very fortunate to have a lot of social contact with them. She didn't save me, but she probably tried. But here's our first date, and I'm sure everybody has a little story, and these are two more words besides gracious that would describe Ginger. We had gone to a movie, and we were on our way, and I hate to be late, so we're flying, and Ginger goes, "We got to stop." And I go, no. Well, I go, "Why?" She goes, "I got to get some good and plenties." And I said, "No, they'll have them at the movie." "I don't know." So we got to the movie, they didn't have them. So the movie's about to start, but we had to get back in the car and go to a convenience store and get good and plenties. So Ginger is good, and there was definitely plenty of her.
I was honored by Ginger to be cousin Sissy because through the years, we had gotten even closer than cousins. And Ginger, from early on, was a matriarch. I can remember when Helen was staying with us, with Ginger, when Florence was giving birth to David. And that's a long time ago. And Ginger, we were playing house. And of course, when we were deciding who was going to be what, Ginger was the mother. And I wanted to be the mother. It was my house. But she was the mother. And Ginger has been that to everybody. Even if she was your friend, she was your cousin, she always mothered you. There was always something that she imparted to you that made you feel unconditionally loved. She would see, your faults. She'd know what you were like, but she only saw the goodness. And she was a good mama to all of us.
Good. All right, I'm going to come talk to Rick and Matt and Heather for this one. I feel kind of like Ginger's second son. But Ginger's been so special to me every time. Everything about Ginger is amazing. I feel like her milk even tasted like ice cream. I'd go over and say, Rick, Ginger, the milk here is so good. Like her cooking, everything around Ginger was just extra special. But one story I want to share with y'all is I was 4 years old. My brother was 2 years old. Y'all were renting the house next to us, and my brother flipped over on a kneeboard in the water and was drowning. Rick, Ginger, Heather pulled him out of the water, did CPR. Ginger called the ambulance. And without them, my brother would be dead right now. And so, thanks to Ginger, I still have a brother. So thank you, Ginger.
I love you, Ginger.
Yeah. Anybody else? Okay.
She's going to cry really good.
I'll try and do it. Number one, she always danced with me in Walmart. The song, if there was any kind of song, she would dance around me in circles and she wouldn't stop. She just wouldn't. Helen and I were talking, and the thing is we had the most wonderful mother in the whole earth. My mother was phenomenal. But Ginger was like our second mother. Ginger, we were talking of all the things Ginger taught us. We wouldn't have been who we are without Ginger from the beginning, from Christmases. She taught us by wrapping the presents so beautiful, by giving us so much, from just everything, our fingernails, our shoes, our clothes. Our homes and warm homes because of Ginger. God, Helen, how many other things did we say? Just everything. She taught us from cooking to plating food. Mother didn't plate food. She made wonderful, but Ginger plated the food and set the tables and everything. I mean, she was it. She was it. And we are so blessed to have had her, and it is good with my soul. I didn't want to let her go, and she didn't think I would, but I did. I didn't want to. I fought very hard, but thank y'all all. What a tribute. I love y'all.
Over 30 years ago, I married Ginger's brother David, or she called him her baby brother. And I'm so blessed to be a part of this big, loving, wonderful family. And I will miss Ginger so much, but we had our differences. She liked wine, I liked beer. She liked the Seminoles, I liked the Gators. But in spite of this, we just had so many wonderful memories, and I want to thank her for praying me into this family.
I have to say, Ginger is responsible for a lot of young lives in this world. We just heard one young man say his brother was alive because of her. I know 2 beautiful snowflake babies who are alive because of her. I have a granddaughter who is alive because of her. My son and daughter-in-law lost 2 children to a miscarriage. They didn't think they were going to be able to have any children. Ginger prayed for 9 months to keep my granddaughter in utero, and she is now 11 and very healthy and happy. And I'm so grateful to Ginger for all that she's done for all of us, for our church family. She's always been there. She let you cry on her shoulder. She prayed with you. She rejoiced with you. And most of all, she loved you.
Me and my husband have been in the church here for, I guess, about 8 years now, and met Ginger when we come to the church, and I would watch her because she's a worshiper. And if you've ever been around her during worship, she worshiped with all of her heart. She danced, and I love worship, but I would watch her. And she inspired me, and she inspired everybody around her. But she loved God, loves God, and is up there and worshiping Him in person now. You know, that's what excited me, was the fact that she left here from worship and stepped right over in to the presence of God and able to worship God face to face. She's looking at Him face to face. Oh, how wonderful. Thank you, Ginger.
Don't shake your head. My name is Buck Oden. My wife's here, Charlotte. When you live next door to somebody 24/7 for years, you get to know them pretty good. Carl and Leah, Carl's here too. They live next door to him now, but we lived next door to Rick and Ginger for quite a few years, and there's things that happen that when you're not next door neighbors you don't know. Okay, and there's just no way to tell you how good of a person Ginger was. And, usually you have some bad stories or something. The only thing I can say bad about Ginger is that she would scare the living daylights out of you when she called for Rick. Because she'd go out and it would be me and him would be working on something or doing something, and all of a sudden out of the house from a mile away, Rick! And it was something I remember. And I know we all have our ways of communicating, but she could communicate with Rick pretty good. But she was just a lovely person. They were a wonderful couple, and they really set an example for a lot of people, and we love them to death, and know where she is now, and she's probably still calling. It'll get down here sooner or later, Rick, but we love you, Rick.
Joni, I have to do this because of what you said. There's a poem that has just been running and running in my mind, and it's called Daffodils. And it goes, I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on higher vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Endless as the stars that shine and twinkle in the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of the bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid those sparkling waves with glee. A poet could not but be gay in such jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth to me that show had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. And all of us have those moments of capturing joy and light and laughter and pleasure in Ginger's presence. And there's going to be so many times where that's just what we need to bring joy and love and laughter back into our lives. So thank you, Ginger.
A year and a half ago, my sister had a stroke, and me and Ginger was one of the first ones there, and she continued prayer on and on and on, and to this day, and for those prayers that she still continued to pray on, she's got an inside now. You're all here. You got to continue this on. And Ginger, thank you very much.
My journey with Ginger started, well, Matthew was in her stomach when I met Ginger. She was the first person I met with Helen in Jacksonville when I moved to Jacksonville way back. We're older than Matthew now.
25.
Yeah, there you go. But I'm just going to get over here. But, you know, it's been an unbelievable experience with the family. But I guess I'm surprised that no one has mentioned the word tradition. Because if anything, Ginger was the queen of tradition. And like every little thing became a tradition. Like, you know, okay, we're going to have Popeye's chicken now for Mother's Day. So every year from then on, Popeye's chicken for Mother's Day. What else? What other traditions? I mean, we were going through pictures the other day, and you know, traditions of having the kids pose so she can see their eyeballs, you know, as they look at the Christmas presents on Christmas morning, year after year after year. I said to Matt and Megan, I said, now 5 minutes before this picture was taken, did y'all have a plan up in the room? Like, okay, this year we're going to pose like this. It was just hilarious. And, you know, so that's the way Ginger was, and just everything was like so fun and festive was another word. That was another key word. And what a great woman. So I propose that this is the tradition for all of us. Every year we're going to come back here, right? No? What? Yes? Ginger's first tradition.